Right now, there is a massive concrete anchor waiting to be dragged through the next 30 years of your life. It is beautifully painted, highly marketed, and decorated with a manicured lawn. The system calls it the dream home. What they do not tell you is that this physical block of concrete is the single most effective psychological cage ever designed. It is engineered to permanently paralyze your professional courage, drain your daily liquidity, and ensure you remain a compliant, high-stress worker until the day you retire. We have been socially conditioned to believe that signing away 3 decades of our future labor to a banking cartel is the ultimate symbol of adult success. In reality, it is a gilded trap designed to lock you into a specific geographic location, a high-stress career, and a lifetime of invisible compounding expenses that will bleed your potential dry in absolute silence. Every single piece of media you consume is saturated with the narrative that homeownership is the ultimate path to security and wealth. But let us look past the marketing paint. A massive, high-leverage mortgage is not an investment. It is a spatial anchor designed to tie you down. The system desperately needs you to buy into this narrative. Why? Because a worker with a 30-year mortgage and a high lifestyle maintenance cost cannot say no to a toxic boss, cannot take calculated career risks, and cannot pivot to seize asymmetric opportunities in a rapidly changing world. You become completely predictable, highly compliant, and easily controlled. Your dream home becomes a physical manifestation of your financial cage. To understand why this spatial trap is so incredibly seductive, we must examine a profound cognitive bias studied by Harvard psychologist Dr. Daniel Gilbert, known as impact bias. Our brains are biologically terrible at predicting how we will feel in the future when we acquire a large material asset. When you walk through a beautifully staged open house, your brain experiences a powerful wave of dopamine. It projects a fantasy of absolute peace, family harmony, and perfect social status. Let's look at what your brain is doing here. Your brain is suffering from a psychological phenomenon called miswanting. It falsely assumes that a larger, more expensive physical space will permanently elevate your baseline happiness. Your brain completely ignores the daily reality of the 30-year debt obligation, the rising property taxes, the endless maintenance costs, and the psychological weight of knowing you cannot easily walk away. The moment you sign the papers, the dopamine spike cools down, the reality of the debt settles in, and you enter a state of chronic, low-grade spatial anxiety. But the psychological trap goes even deeper, triggering a behavioral spiral known as the Diderot effect. Coined by the French philosopher Denis Diderot, this concept explains how the acquisition of a new high-status possession triggers a compulsive chain reaction of complementary consumption. When you buy your dream home, your brain immediately registers that your old simple furniture, your modest vehicle, and your basic appliances no longer match your new grand environment. Suddenly, you feel a powerful, irrational urge to upgrade everything. You must purchase the expensive couch, the designer landscaping, the smart security systems, and the premium subscriptions to maintain visual unity. You find yourself trapped in a manic cycle of lifestyle inflation, spending thousands of dollars just to keep up with the spatial standards of neighbors you do not even respect, leaving your actual financial liquidity completely empty. Take out your pencil. Let's look at the numbers. Imagine you purchase a $400,000 dream home using a standard 30-year fixed mortgage with a seemingly normal interest rate. To your brain, this looks like a stable, responsible long-term investment. But let's write down the real mathematical reality of this spatial contract. Over the 30-year amortization schedule, you will not pay $400,000. With compounding interest, property taxes, homeowners insurance, and transaction fees, you will end up paying nearly $950,000. Now, let's write down the invisible termites of homeownership, maintenance, and repairs. Real estate experts calculate that home maintenance costs average 1 to 2% of the home's value every single year. Over 30 years, that is an additional $120,000 in recurring physical maintenance. If you earn $25 an hour after taxes, that $1 million concrete block does not represent a home. It represents 40,000 hours of your finite, non-renewable life energy. You have traded nearly 20 years of your actual waking labor to own a physical space that is actively depreciating and locking your capital in an illiquid block of concrete, completely cut off from high yield, asymmetric opportunities that could buy your actual freedom. The emotional tax of this concrete cage is what psychologists call spatial anchoring. When you own a massive physical asset, your professional mobility is instantly crippled. If an incredible high-yield opportunity opens up in another city or country, you cannot easily move. You are anchored to your geographic location by the complex, high-friction process of selling or renting your property. You find yourself forced to tolerate stagnant wages, corporate toxicity, and daily traffic because you must secure the consistent, high-yield monthly income required to feed the mortgage monster. You have traded your professional elasticity, your geographic mobility, and your psychological peace for the superficial status of a physical address. To escape this spatial trap and reclaim your sovereignty, you must execute a complete, clinical intervention. You must stop viewing housing as a status symbol and start viewing it strictly as a low-cost utility designed to maximize your personal mobility and capital liquidity. The first step in this defense is the implementation of the liquid autonomy protocol. You must prioritize high-yield, liquid, and completely anonymous assets over physical concrete displays. Instead of locking all of your available capital into a massive down payment that leaves you house poor and vulnerable to emergency expenses, you must keep your capital highly liquid and invested in quiet, high-performing assets that grow in absolute silence. By keeping your capital liquid, you maintain the ultimate leverage, the physical power to pivot, take risks, and relocate whenever an asymmetric opportunity presents itself. Their asset is a heavy illiquid concrete block. Your asset is a silent, high-velocity force of absolute freedom. The second step is the adoption of the Minimalist Haven Protocol. If you choose to rent, or if you choose to buy, you must deliberately select a space that is significantly below your actual financial capacity. You must refuse to play the game of spatial status. Select a high-quality, highly practical, and low-overhead living space that does not require your constant physical and mental energy to maintain. This is the luxury of the lock-and-leaves lifestyle. When your living space has a tiny financial footprint, you dramatically lower your baseline survival cost, instantly reducing your daily stress and freeing up immense amounts of cognitive bandwidth. You are no longer running on a treadmill just to pay for empty square footage you barely utilize. Your space becomes a functional tool for rest, while your actual life is lived in complete sovereignty. The final and most critical shield is the shift from spatial display to absolute privacy. The system wants you to believe that your home is the ultimate representation of who you are. They want you decorating, upgrading, and displaying your space on social media feeds to seek the quick superficial validation of your peers. But the truly sovereign individual understands that the ultimate status is not a physical address that anyone can look up. The ultimate status is absolute privacy, complete mental peace, and the quiet security of knowing that your actual wealth is entirely invisible to the world. When you stop treating your home as a status symbol and start treating it as a quiet, low-overhead shelter, you instantly opt out of the lifestyle inflation trap. You realize that a dream home with a 30-year debt anchor is nothing more than a highly polished financial prison, but a simple, high-mobility lifestyle backed by massive silent liquidity is a fortress of absolute freedom. Let's look at what your brain is doing here as we reach the final verdict. The system wants you geographically locked, heavily indebted, and deeply stressed, because that is the exact state of mind that keeps you running on their track, accepting their terms, and feeding their banking cartels. They want you to believe that a dream home is the ultimate goal of your life. But the path to real sovereignty has always been light, liquid, and deeply psychological. By choosing to prioritize your geographic mobility, protect your capital liquidity, and keep your life quiet and private, you break their script and claim your time. This leaves us with a deeply uncomfortable clinical question that you must answer within the quiet of your own mind. Are you willing to trade the superficial status of a massive dream home, just to possess the silent liquid wealth that actually buys your absolute lifetime freedom? Leave your thoughts in the comments below if you are ready to begin the exit protocol. We will keep writing the counterscript,